this point. Okay, so next thing is our last topic of the day is, well, I should say, debates. All the debates basically that happened with CNBC, CNN, Fox News, the Republican and the Democrat debates. So let me ask you, what do you think? Do you think that with all the debates going on, and right now the big thing is the Republicans, most of the Republicans are complaining about the debates. For example, let's see. Uh, they first said Fox was rude. The tone of the questions were very, very rude. Then it was CNN, and they complained that it was too hot and it was too long. Then it was CNBC, and they said they asked too many tough questions. Um, what do you think of that? Do you think that they have a point, or do you think they're acting like children?
Well, I mean, come on, it's ridiculous. Tough questions. I mean, you're a politician running for the highest job in the United States of America, and you're being asked tough questions. Well, that's what they're supposed to do, is ask you tough questions, and you're supposed to respond to them. Meaning that you should have done your homework. If you did not do your homework, of course you're going to complain. You have nothing else to do but to complain, because you don't have the information to respond to it. So you're going to say that it's unfair, that you're being treated in a different way, and this shouldn't be the case. It should be much easier. Ask us straightforward questions. I mean, that's ridiculous. You're running for the presidency, you should know a variety of different subjects. So
Sure.
that's just my opinion.
No, that's true. I completely agree with that. I But the thing is, I sort of feel for all of these places, like whether it's Fox News, CNN, CNBC. Usually, I don't agree with too many things, but at the same time, they sort of have to ask these questions that are pointed, because if they don't, all these politicians, they're really, really good at one thing, and that's deflecting. They'll, for example, you ask them, so what is your policy on global warming? And instead of taking a stance on it, most politicians will go, well, like global warming, it's something that we definitely should take a look into. It's something, and the Americans know what they need to know. And America is a really great country, and we have really hardworking people. And I know that we're going to be able to solve any problems that we have. And you're basically sitting there and going, well, you didn't. Kind of went into your own thing. You didn't really answer a question. And then when you ask a question where it's like, well, now if I ask you a pointed question, I don't want you to go off topic. I want you to actually answer this specific question. That's when they're like, well, that's not fair. You shouldn't be doing that. You shouldn't, it's like you're being very rude about this. Let me answer the way I want to answer. Let me answer, in this particular way, so that I won't get too many people upset with me, that I won't get people who are, annoyed by me or anything like that. I don't want to slip in the polls. I just want to make sure that I say the right thing when I want to say it. And those debates become pointless. I mean, there's really no reason to have them, because the only thing it is, it's just a platform for them to give speeches. And really, like, most people don't want to have that. They actually want them to have real debates where they're actually talking about issues and explaining their points and why they think their view on X is right, and while they think the view on Y is wrong. And majority of the time, you don't see them. Majority of the time now, you see them making fun of each other. I mean, it seems like Trump started it, but it seems like everybody else picked it up. And you rarely hear them actually talk about policy, whether it's the Democrats or the Republicans. You usually hear about how they're great and how they're going to make the country, perfect. And they're the only ones that can do it. And the other guys just don't know what to do. So.
Yeah, it's really becoming ridiculous, this presidential election that's going to be coming up You just have a bunch of children.
We're a
on
year
stage.
away, by the way, from it. So
Well, a year away from it,
and we already had 3 debates.
okay, we have 3 debates, but no resolution. No one really talking about their policies, what they're going to do to improve the economy, and policies overseas and anything like that. It's just a bunch of bullshit that's being discussed. You know what I mean? It's self
pure rhetoric.
egos. Yeah, self egos, and being heard about what someone actually says about you instead of actually talking about political points. So, it's a childish campaign for all of them. I think it's ridiculous. They're crying about this, they're crying about that. This isn't fair, that isn't fair. The Republicans have like 200 people running for the candidacy, and the Democrats have really 2 people that are legitimate, and one we know that is going to win 100%. So there's no point of having Bernie Sanders even trying, and for the people that think that he has a chance, well, just get a clue. You know what I mean? It's just it's really, I mean, when the world looks at us and sees what's going on in our political debate, I'm just curious if they think that this is a jungle. You know what I mean? It's just a bunch of bullshit.
Do you think? Do you think that? Well, for example, right now they basically boycotted CNNBC's next debate, so they're not going to do that, and they're basically saying how they want the next debates to go, and it's basically like, they're giving terms as to how they want to be asked, what kind of environment has to be in, and things like that. Do you think that they should have the power to do that?
No way. I mean, this should not be scripted. This is not reality TV. This is not scripted TV. These are candidates that are running for the presidency of the United States, not fucking Jamaica or Somalia or whatever fucking country that that is in disorderly fashion. We are supposed to be a democracy, in which we are, but we should be in a participatory democracy, not a democracy where a few rule the masses. And we're seeing that this really coming out, where pretty much the candidates are dictating terms. Well, you shouldn't get to dictate terms because you have millions upon millions of dollars in your pockets. You know what I mean? Think about this. It's
not that though. But hold on a second.
I think it has something to do with that.
No. They're not actually doing that. It's because basically it's giving these news stations a lot of views, and basically they're saying, hey, if you want these views, then you have to do what we say. So that's basically where they're at. So what do you think the news station should actually do?
I don't think there should be one news station that's covering. I think that's ridiculous.
Well, they don't have one news station covering it at this point.
What I mean is, at one particular time, you have CNBC, you have MSNBC, you have all these big stations and companies that are run by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 corporations that own most of media in the first place. Why not allow people from the alternative media, maybe allow influential people that are not necessarily in the media come in and ask questions, and you have to answer those questions. If you do not answer those questions, you are going to be barred from running for the presidency. You have to answer those questions. It's ridiculous.
That sounds like a perfect world scenario where you get politicians to actually answer questions that you ask them. That has never really, yeah, but I'm saying,
but
that
it has
never
to
happened.
be.
Oh, well, you could say it has to be, but I'm saying that has never happened. Since we've had politicians have learned how, and through many years of practice, have learned how to not answer questions, or how to answer questions in their their own way. Where at the end of it, you know, like you asked them about global warming or whatever, and they're, by the end of it, they're talking about, their candidacy and how they're going to be the greatest leader. That has always been the case. It's just like they know how to do that, and unless there's actual law that is passed, which they would have to pass it themselves, there's no way to change that specifically.
I agree with you.
But right now, specifically in regards to the debates, though, should CNN, should Fox News, should all of these stations, should they themselves, basically go on the offensive and go like, hey, we're going to work together. And if you really don't want, to have your debates, or you want them in a specific way and all that kind of stuff, we're not going to basically televise you. Go find another channel, and go find a third-party channel that will, maybe give you a few hundred views. Whereas we're not going to do that. Or do you think that they should kind of crumble under the pressure and just go, you know what, we really want those views, so we'll do what they say?
Well, honestly, to tell you the truth, I like neither. I don't like politicians, and I don't like these mainstream news stations. So just to get that out of the way. But irregardless of that, no one should dictate to you what you should do in the first place. And especially in a presidency run. In 2016, we're in 2016, 21st century, and politicians are dictating to news stations what questions they should be asked. Shouldn't that be under the table usually? You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And they're bringing that out to the forefront. And, I know it's been going on under the table, but, to actually finally come out and say, you know what? This is how we want for it to be, and you have to abide by it. And if you don't, then you know what I mean? It's such corruption. The corruption's everywhere.
I personally think that if it wasn't for Trump, because Trump has such weight. I mean, the reason why they're getting so many views is because of Trump. Because I do remember the previous time when Republicans were running, the numbers weren't even close to this. No one really cared about them in terms of watching the debates. Now that you have Trump, who brings so many viewerships, he's able to dictate and he's able to control it. And if he wasn't around, I'm not saying that he needs to go away because of this or anything, but if he wasn't around, I honestly don't think that the Republicans could have said in any way, oh well, if you don't change up, we're not going to be here, because I just don't see that happening. I really don't. I don't see them having the cloud. They're like, oh, that's fine. If you don't want us to cover it, that's fine. We're not going to get, the few millions. We'll post something else during that time.
Honestly, I can't wait until Trump drops out, and I know that he will drop out at a point. But I
don't know. You see, he said that with such a factual.
He is.
Like,
he's going to drop out. I mean, I don't know if it's going to be, a half a year from now, or 8 months from now, or whatever. He's definitely going to drop out. He's just making big noise. He's a big gorilla with nothing much to say except for something that he supposedly believes, but we never know if he's doing it genuinely or if he's doing it for publicity. In my opinion, he's probably doing it for publicity, and it's just a big stunt. It's a big stunt to pretty much distract people from what's really going on. And it's becoming this bullshit, crying here, crying there. And I mean, wow, what country do we live in where the politicians are kids? They're literally kids. I mean, come on.
I think that at first when Trump entered, I think he was a joke, but I just don't think he could possibly know 100% he's going to exit a certain point, because I mean, he's still leading. I know Carson in a few areas they showed he might be leading here, but overall it's still Trump, and I just don't see him exiting anytime soon, if he even will at all. So I mean, that point that you were so adamant about, I don't know.
He's the loudest gorilla in the jungle. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
he
but
pounds the hardest on the drum.
Right, but sometimes,
you know?
but sometimes those gorillas are king.
But he's bullshitting. He's a bullshitter.
You're just becoming louder for no reason.
I mean, he doesn't like Mexicans. Are you telling me he doesn't have Mexicans working for him?
Probably does.
Oh fuck yeah, he does. He's a big hypocrite.
I completely. I understand what you're saying in terms of like you don't like him. But that has nothing to do with him dropping out. You're kind of combining the two. You're like, he's a gorilla, he's this. That's fine. You don't like him, but it has nothing to do with him dropping out. I'm just
saying he's riding the wave. That's all he's doing. It's
a big wave, and it could take him all the way to shore.
Absolutely, but does he have a chance to become the president of the United States? No,
I don't. I can't see it. No. Right, but that's my opinion. I'm not saying that. Well, that's
my opinion. That's my opinion too.
Okay. Well, I'm saying it sounded like you were like saying for a fact that he's not going to make it all the way. And
that's my fact. Let's just put it that way. That's what I feel. That's what I feel.
Again, it's your opinion. I get it.
It's just he's making money. When people think that he's not making money, he's using money, and he's running for the president of the United States, so he's only losing money and bullshit this, bullshit that, blah 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 blah. No, he's making a lot of money. Come on.
How do you think he's making money right now?
Well, he's everywhere.
Okay, but how do you think
he's on every show?
How do you think he's making But how,
people are paying him. His brand is going up.
No,
oh yes,
they're not paying him for.
Oh, I'm sure they are. Oh yeah,
that. No, they're not.
I'm sure they are paying him. But anyway, it's not only. Well, it's not only that. His brand.
No, absolutely. His
brand
is as huge. And the thing is, he definitely like whether he wins or he loses, he could definitely make a ton of money afterwards with doing anything. He could go have a speech somewhere and make $1 million. He could write a book.
Well, he's making speeches right now, so he's potentially making money as well. I think so.
I'm talking about where they actually pay you. I'm not talking about donations to his campaign or anything. I'm talking about actual, hey, this is a gig. We're going to pay you this. Go and talk to these people. And I think he's going to make a ridiculous amount of money, but he's not making money right now of going on The View talking to them. They're not paying him for that.
I don't know about that.
I don't know. Like that's not a factual thing to say.
Well, okay. Well, listen. The point here is that he's really building up his brand.
Absolutely.
And the fact that he doesn't like Mexicans and immigrants, and he doesn't like abortion and all this bullshit. Once he falls out of the race, you'll see in 2 months people will forget about that, and things will go back to usual. He'll start making more and more money. It's a huge long publicity stunt. He knows that he's not a legitimate candidate. He really doesn't have any policy. You know what I mean? So it's just a bunch of bullshit.
I think he when he first came on scene, I do think it was a publicity stunt. I didn't think he thought that he could actually do it, but it's too hard not to take him at all seriously and go like, he's a buffoon, he doesn't know what he's doing, he's an idiot, blah blah. I'm sorry, but as much as I do want to say that, and as much as I would have said that before he joined, I'm having a harder time every single day putting him into that category because of how well he's still doing. So I guess we're going to have our different points of views, and I guess we'll see in 6 months where you said that he's going to drop out.
Well, I said 6 to 8 months, but
6 to 8 months. So
he'll definitely drop out.
So we'll see then. So again, guys, thank you for joining us on our third podcast. And again, we're sponsored by quickyprint.com, where you can get all your printing needs met. Thank you so much for joining us.